Hello guys, this is Ototawan of International Football KAYPEE Une Mie, and today I'm live with one of the biggest boss in the football journalism business. No other person than Julian. Julian, what's up?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good afternoon, KAYPEE. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
It's all right. So today we'll be looking at the Premier League so far. We'll be talking about Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Brighton, all the teams and their performances so far this season. So, Julian, from the league table, how can you describe this season with one word?
It's been surprising.
Yeah.
It's been surprising. Because a lot of persons felt that Manchester City would be on top, just like they've been in the last 4 years, but Liverpool have been waxing very strong this season.
To me, I would say this season have been a season of the underdogs. If you look at the table, after Manchester City and Liverpool, the other teams are like 19 points. That's to tell you that this season is very, very tough. It's unpredictable. Now, let's look at Arsenal. So far this season, Arsenal have been struggling because this season was like the designated season for Arsenal to like win the trophy. Before this season started, everybody was like, oh, this should be Arsenal season since they've been going for it back to back. But this season, somehow, they've not been getting the results. Injuries have been a factor. Red cards have been a factor. And I feel like these players have not been so energized to get this result. So what have been the problem of Arsenal so far?
Well, you've highlighted some of them. Injuries to key players, the captain Odegaard. You talk about red cards to Declan Rice, to Trossard. And all of these have combined to affect Arsenal one way or the other. So I've looked at the last 2 seasons, the first 19 games. 2022-2023, Arsenal dropped only 7 points in the first 19 games, which means they had 50 out of 57. Last season, Arsenal dropped about 10 points. No, they dropped about 17 points, because they had 40 points out of 57. So this season, Arsenal already have dropped 14 points. So you can see that this season has been really bad when you compare it to the previous 2 seasons. Now, I remember that Pep was referencing how Arsenal spent over 200 days on top of the table, how the first part of the season was almost flawless for Arsenal and all of that. And from the 2023 season, you can see that Arsenal had some differences. They lost the league by 5 points. Last season, they lost the league by 2 points. Now, this season, you never can tell what will happen. And I agree with you when you say that this season was that year where many Arsenal fans felt that this was going to be their year. But the start has not been good. And the truth of the matter is Arsenal are not good chasing. Arsenal have always led in the last 2 seasons, and City have come from behind to win. So now Arsenal are the ones who are chasing. They are chasing Liverpool, they are chasing City. So how they will be able to respond will rely so much on the players. Injuries, if Odegaard is back now, if he can stay fit, if he can show glimpses of what he has done in the last 2 years for Arsenal, if Kai Havertz can also come up with those key goals, if the defense can do their job. Arsenal have considered 12 goals this season in the Premier League. Last season, they considered only about 29 goals. The season before, they considered about 45 goals or thereabout. So Arsenal's defense has been what has helped them in the last 2 years, especially for last season. But this season, they are conceding goals. They are not keeping as many clean sheets as they used to be. So a lot of factors. The players must rise to the occasion and show that they have that mentality, and the experience is not there, because look at the Arsenal team. How many of them have won the Premier League before? So in difficult moments, you need experienced players. You need players with winning mentality to come up. So that's the thing that is affecting Arsenal now. They need to rise up to the occasion and start winning on a consistent basis.
Thank you very much for that. But to an extent, I feel like the playing style, it's kind of changed this season. Arsenal kind of conservative. Let's look at some of the results they've had, especially the one against Chelsea and Mancity. They had the lead. Even the one against Liverpool, they had the lead, and they just moved back a little to like they kind of conservative, keeping that lead without attacking. The Arsenal we know last season, they were scoring goals against Chelsea 5, West Ham 6, Burnley 5. When you're playing conservative football, there is no way you will be attacking because you feel like you want to hold on to your lead, which is just 1 goal or maybe 2 goals. And when they score, you know you'll be pressured and you start conceiving goals, and that will not lead to the red card because the defense is not pressured. Everybody is trying to, play safe and all of that, and that leads to goals.
Yeah,
so I think
I agree with you. I agree with you.
The style, the pattern this season have changed a little. Is it that Arteta is kind of scared of, let me not lose this match, let me be conservative, maybe this one will help me, instead of playing explosive football and trying to outscore the opponent?
The truth of the matter is, there's no team that can win the league playing 38 games flawlessly. It's almost impossible, even though you are Manchester City. If you even watch some of the City games this season, they've also struggled to win. And that's why you see the way they celebrate after the game. Remember the one against Wolves, when John Stones scored that controversial goal, late winner and all of that. See how they celebrated that goal. Look at how they celebrated against Arsenal. So if City can celebrate that way, if City can find it difficult, then why can't Arsenal? Again, you need to also consider the games you are referring to. The first one you referred to was the City game.
Yeah.
That's an away game. When was the last time Arsenal went to City and won? That's 2015. That's a very, very long. In fact, apart from the victory Arsenal had against City last season, Arsenal have been losing to City back to back on all fronts.
They have been their
Premier League, Carabao Cup, anywhere City met Arsenal, they were beating Arsenal.
Yeah.
So Arteta was able to devise a means, beat them at the Emirates 1-0, and went to the Etihad and got a goalless draw. So if you look at this season, the moment Arsenal got that red card, you knew that they were going to be in trouble. Playing away at City, playing a whole 45 minutes with 10 players is difficult. Even if it's City will do the same. Yeah. Because Arsenal's record away to City is not good. And this is a team that have dominated the Premier League for the last 4 years. So in that regard, I will not blame Arsenal for being defensive against City with 10 players.
One last question. How can Arsenal turn these results around? Like go on a 10, game winning streak? Because I know at some point, whoever have won the league have gone 10 straight, 15 straight matches, unbeaten, and have gotten, result accumulated points. What do you think, Arsenal should do in the January transfer window or, right now to turn things around? Because this is not what many Arsenal fans expected after 11 games.
Well, the truth of the matter is, Arsenal fans were a bit skeptical the moment Arteta didn't get a striker in the summer.
Yeah, everybody was a striker.
But again, you look at the transfer market, who could Arsenal have gotten at a cheap price? Because you need to also look at the finances of the club. Yeah. How much is available to spend? What key areas do you need to reinforce? And I felt that Arsenal were a bit lightweight in midfield. So they went to bring in Mikel Merino, who for me has been a very fantastic player for Real Sociedad. And even at the Euros, we saw what he did. That late goal against Germany, and all that. So there was need to bring in Merino. Yeah. And then you look at the other areas. I think that Arteta would have looked at it. Okay, Kai Havertz is that player that can give us key goals in key games, which he did last season. A lot of Arsenal fans don't like Kai Havertz, but whether you like it or not, Havertz was a key player for Arsenal last season. If you begin to count how many points Havertz goals won for Arsenal, you should be talking of more than 10-15 points.
Home and away, he scored against Brighton,
against Brentford.
Right?
Against Brentford, 2-1 at the Emirates after Ramsdale made that howler. Yeah. And then away at Brentford, it was the one that scored the goal. That's 6 points from just 2 games. And I can tell you that it's more than 10-15 points that Havertz on his own, his goals, won for Arsenal. So Arteta would have looked at it and said, okay, I have Havertz who can play in that number 9 role. I have Gabriel Jesus who can also play in that number 9 role. So again, you need to look at, if you're going to get a striker, minimum 50-60 million pounds. If you want to get a Gyökeres, for instance, his release clause is about 60 million or thereabout.
I think Gyökeres is out of the matter because right now Amorim is at Manchester United.
And he
will like his
well, it may not happen that way.
Okay.
If Arsenal comes up with the money, it may not happen that way.
Okay.
Because United already have Højlund, they have Zigze as well. Okay. So it's about who the player also wants to join.
Yeah, that's true.
If Gyökeres decides, okay, I want to play for Arteta, I like the style of football they play there, why not? I think he'll be a good fit for Arsenal. I don't know of Manchester United, but with the way Arsenal play, I think he'll be a good fit for them because Arsenal just lacking that striker who can give them 20-25 goals. And that's what they've lacked in the last 2 years.
Okay, that's a nice one for Arsenal. So let's talk about Manchester City. This season, Manchester City have been struggling. Some people will say it's because Rodri is not in the team. Rodri had injury that have kept him out of the team. Some will say, you know, the Manchester City players are suffering for success. They've been winning. Probably they are tired. De Bruyne is now old. You know, Gundogan is not like the Gundogan that was there 2-3 seasons ago. He went to Barca and came back a different player. You know, some of the new boys, Doku and Savio, are not used to, you know, this winning mentality that the other players have had, and they are more like starters. So what is happening in Manchester City? Pep announced last season that he will be leaving the club, or this will be his last season there. We don't know what's going to happen after this season. So what's really happening at Manchester City? Why are they struggling? They're supposed to be like, you know, the boss of the Premier League, winning back to back, but recently, you know, they've been struggling. And when I mean struggling, this is the real definition of struggle. Like 4 games now, no win, losses here and there.
Yeah, well, they are struggling, but they are still in second position.
Yeah,
that's how good City are. How many points are Liverpool using to gap them? It's not too much.
It's 5 points to be precise.
Yes, 5 points to be precise.
28-23.
Which is something that can also be achieved.
Yes.
After all, City have won the league with 100 points. They've been chasing us now. They've won the league for the last 2 years and all of that. So teams will always have their difficult moments. I remember some years back, a few years ago, Liverpool didn't play in the Champions League. They finished outside the top 4. That was under Jurgen Klopp. So it tells you that teams can struggle. City are having their difficult moments now, but it's good to know that the 4 losses have not been in the Premier League.
Yeah.
If they were in the Premier League, then their fans will begin to
one
panic.
At Carabao
the Champions
Cup,
League and one in the
2-1
Carabao
to
Cup.
Tottenham, then 4-1 to Sporting, and then 2 at
in the Premier League. So that's what I'm saying. If the 4 losses were in the Premier League, then City fans will be panicking. Yeah. But it's 2 losses in the Premier League, 1 in the Champions League, 1 in the Carabao Cup. So it's bad. Because Pep, because Pep has not suffered that kind of loss in his career. But it shows you that he's human, and City are human too. Yeah. They can drop points. After all, as good as Pep is, Pep has not won the league without losing a game. From Barcelona, despite having that almighty Barcelona team, to Bayern, where he inherited a team that won the treble from Jupp Heynckes, and even at Manchester City. So he has not been able to do what Arsenal did in 2004, to win without losing a single game. Because I remember that year, Arsenal drew 12 and won 26 games.
That's why I say Wenger is special.
And that's why that Arsenal team is still called the Invincibles till today. Yeah. No team has done it. I don't know if any team will do it or when they will do it. So that tells you that City and Pep are human. Again, you talk about his contract. He has not come out explicitly to say that he's going to leave at the end of the season. But I know that his contract is ending at the end of the season. Again, his very good friend, they work together at Barcelona, Shiki Begiristain, is also going to leave. And then the man at Sporting is going to replace him. And that's why there were talks about that guy bringing Amorim to City. Yeah. Before United sacked Ten Hag and went quickly to get Amorim. Yeah. Just like they snatched Ronaldo when he was almost looking like he was going to Manchester City. Yeah. They brought him back to Manchester United. And even Alexis Sanchez, if you remember.
But something I will have to state is that there are still 115 charges against Manchester City.
Hey, if that happens...
So is that going to also play a role on Pep's decision on staying or leaving?
Well, we don't know when the investigation is on. Yeah. We don't know when it will be concluded. But I hope it's concluded before the end of this season so that everybody is clear. But for Pep, he says that he believes what his bosses have told him. Yeah. And they've told him that those charges are not true and that he's going to hold them by their words. But if he finds out that they've told him a lie, he's going to leave. So for now, those charges are there, but City have not been proven guilty. That's just the truth of the matter. So they can continue carrying on playing their football. So back to the pitch of play. Some have said it's because of Rodri. I don't want to believe. I know that every club have their best players. But I don't want to believe that the absence of one player can affect a team's chances of winning a title. This is not national team football where you play only 7 games. You play 38 games. So if a player is out for, let's say, 1 or 2 months, you still have so many games to catch up. You talk about Rodri. Yes, he's very influential. City win more games with him than without him.
The Ballon d'Or winner himself.
Yes, but is he their best player currently? The answer is no. The best player in that City team, according to the players and the fans, is Phil Foden. And according to the Premier League, is Phil Foden. Unfortunately for Foden, he has been a shadow of himself. De Bruyne has also been struggling with injuries. Ruben Dias injury. See, the thing is, not like I'm happy with what is happening to City, but sometimes as a club, when you are winning, you don't know what other clubs who are facing injuries they are battling. Yeah. You don't know what the battle is until it happens to you. So that's why when Arsenal fans said, oh, they didn't win the league in 2023 because of Saliba, I don't agree with that too. But now you look at the same things happening to City. City fans are now saying, oh, it's because of Rodri. Now, City are having injuries, not just even Rodri. You look at Ruben Dias, he's been struggling with injury. John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne, they've had their fair share of injury problems. Now he's had to bring in some players from the academy. Because for many years, for the 9 years Pep has been in the Premier League, he has had to rely on the players he signed. Established players. How many players has he brought in from the academy? Look at what Arteta is doing with Ethan Nwaneri. Look at what Ten Hag did with Meno Garnacho before he was sacked. So he has had to rely so much on Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Haaland, Doku, and all of those guys. So now he's having issues. The transfer market is closed. He has to look inward. And he has brought in that Simpson Pussy, who has been exposed badly. So it shows that City needs to also work on the academy. You know, so at the end of the day, City just have to fight through this period. I'm not ruling them out of winning the Premier League. City, in fact, April of 2023, City were 8 points behind Arsenal. April of 2023. For a league that was supposed to end in May. And City still came from behind to win, including beating Arsenal by 4-1. So I'm not ruling out City completely. But if they keep dropping points, their fans will now begin to have that doubt. After the international break, their next game is against Tottenham Hotspur at home. Can they win that fixture? That fixture is a must already.
At Carabao Cup.
So that's a must-win game. If City drop points in that game, then their fans will begin to panic.
Okay, so we're going to take a break here. This is the end of episode 1. You can check out episode 2 where we'll talk about Liverpool, we'll talk about Chelsea on episode 2. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like our video. If you're seeing this on YouTube, please comment. Thank you.